Hi, everybody. Tashi here from Pixie Mommy's Reborns. Welcome back to my channel. To everyone new, hello and welcome. So you're looking at Oscar again. I will introduce Oscar for those of you new. Oscar is my full-bodied silicone baby boy. He is the Dwayne Awake #2 by Claire Taylor Dolls. And actually, because I'm going to be in part speaking a little bit about his sculpt and addition and everything, I will explain to those of you that aren't familiar with the Dwayne edition by Claire Taylor Dolls, the silicone Dwayne edition by Claire Taylor Dolls. So there was an awake edition made and an asleep edition made. Very small, limited edition. I think on the awake babies there is 5 in the edition, and then the prototype, if I'm not mistaken. So, 6 of these, babies worldwide. So that's a very obviously small edition. It was the last edition that Claire Taylor will be doing custom dolls for. So these edition babies, aside from the prototype, were all done as custom orders. Now, I didn't get Oscar directly from Claire Taylor. I'm actually his third mommy. His first mommy had him for an extremely short period of time. Like, we're talking like a month, maybe 2, something like that. Because he's not an old doll at all. This is, fairly new. I would have to look to see when they came out, but he's not that old. He's not even 2 years old yet, put it that way. So I got him from his second mommy, and she had him rerouted and his eyes changed because somehow he was damaged. The hair was damaged and things from the first mommy. We have no idea what happened or how that happened. So originally, Oscar, Dwayne #2, had like curly black hair, more of like African American hair, and brown eyes. He was different. I know it's very hard to see his eye color all the time in photos and videos, but his eyes are not brown. They are a blue-green. I don't know really which to call it, or maybe a hazel. They do actually have tones of brown in there. I would maybe call it more green. I'm not even sure. His eyes are very interesting and unique, and I love them. So anyway, his second mommy, I believe, did that on purpose to make him a little different from Dwayne #1, who is also an ethnic baby boy, and their hair was similar. So out of the whole edition of the 5 of them, and plus the prototype, Dwayne #1 and Dwayne #2 looked closer to one another, put it that way. So it was nice that being his hair had to be rerouted anyway, that, he got the straight black hair, and, just made him even more different, even more special. So he's, now very special to me. So I'm going to move it along here and explain, because we're going to talk about today, and I was not going to speak about this. I really just wanted to forget, just move, past this. But a lot of times, and I'd like to remind everyone that YouTubers, even your favorite YouTubers, or even if you watch because you don't like a YouTuber, and I know that sounds actually really silly, but believe it or not, there are people out there that do it, that will watch videos of people that they don't like, just to pick out things that they think they're saying wrong or doing wrong, so that they have content to talk about and rag on them and hate on them and make fun of them and all that. It does happen. But anyway, for whatever reason you're watching, remember that, people on YouTube are human. We are human. We're not actors and actresses. We are just people here in the doll hobby that choose to, make a channel and, share, the hobby and our dolls and what's going on with us, with all of you. So we're human. We are human. So I find it difficult to make videos if something is that much on my mind, without kind of airing it out to move past it. I just, through the years I've found that, which is probably why you all get, and, I'm known on my channel for tackling the touchy-feely subjects or controversial subjects and things of that nature. I often do that, and that part of it could be why, because some of it affects me. So this affects me personally, and I'm going to explain. That's why I was telling you about the Dwaynes, because I'm going to explain how it affects me personally, but then we're going to talk about things on a whole. We're going to talk about artists and collectors copying or cloning, or having in the likes of someone else's doll made. So the Dwayne edition has, Claire also poured it in vinyl and made vinyl kits available of this sculpt, which I was really excited. Everybody was starting to get their Dwayne vinyl kits. I got one myself. The kit is with the artist. I was so excited that everyone out there was going to get to experience this absolutely amazing sculpt, because I feel like the Awake Dwaynes were just, an epic, sculpt. And it just really, and to know that so many of you are going to get to enjoy this sweet, sweet face, and just everything was just really exciting. And I couldn't wait to see all of the different artists' versions of this kit, and and collectors, versions, if they were having customs done made of this kit. I was like, oh, I'm so excited to see this face out there and see everyone's versions. Well, it didn't dawn on me, and it didn't dawn on anyone else, and I'm assuming probably not on the artist Claire Taylor either, because that someone might take a kit or kits and try and accomplish, creating a doll that, no, of course it's not an exact replica because it's a totally different medium, but go that far out of their way to make dolls that looked exactly like the, ladies' dolls that have the edition dolls. And this was done to not only myself, but to two of my dear friends that each also have one of these dolls. So the original, I believe, is in a museum, so it wouldn't have been so awful to copy that particular one, because at least no one else in the community owns it. Number one, we don't know where it went. So that doll, somebody does own it, a private collector, but we don't know. We don't see that doll. But anyways, it's just a no-no. It's something that we don't do to one another here. It's just kind of like, it's just common courtesy and etiquette. Most collectors, don't, do that to one another. And most artists, it's a big taboo to copy another artist's work and to make a replica of a collector's doll out there. Or any artist that is worth their grain of salt and has ethics is not going to do that. It's the art world, and that is just something that, you just don't do. Not in this hobby in this way. You all know how very, very special our dolls can be to us. And if you go out of your way and, plus the amount of money these dolls cost, that you're buying a one of a kind, a limited edition, and I don't mean one of a kind in the sculpt, because that's just a very limited in the sculpt. There was, 6 of this particular sculpt, and of course there is a vinyl, version of it. But I mean, the exact doll in general, the painting, the rooting, is one of a kind. Claire Taylor herself certainly didn't replicate the edition dolls onto the vinyl. That was, very unfortunately done by another artist that was willing to take pictures, probably of our dolls, or at least in Oscar's case, it would have to be, because he does not look anything like the original, so that Claire would have had on her page. So, to replicate his exact skin tone, his hair, his, eyebrows, it was so uncanny. When this doll popped up, I was scrolling through the Instagram feed and I was confused. I was like, I didn't take that did I take that picture? Like, I thought it was Oscar. And then I realized. And then subsequently, I was getting messages all over the place. People thought I had sold Oscar because they saw this collector's pictures, and it just looks exactly like Oscar. So, people thought I sold Oscar. So this happens to be a collector that knows us 3 ladies that have the dolls. She, a couple months ago, befriended me, and this was after sometime last year, sometime after I had gotten Oscar. She had approached me wanting to purchase Oscar and be on his, list, as did she also approached all of the other ladies that she copied the dolls, trying to buy the dolls off of them. So, I don't know if she was just, now you're talking about someone that also has multiples of, Claire Taylor, the same sculpt. In fact, they have the sleeping version, multiples of this, doll. So perhaps she wanted all 3 to get her hands on all 3. And I don't know. There's another mommy out there too, and I didn't even ask. I don't know if she had been approached too. God, I hope that that's not the next doll that's going to get copied. I just, oh my gosh, I just feel so bad for the whole situation. But we are adults, and, we are, in the silicones, and, it's a pretty tight-knit, or I don't want to say tight-knit, because we don't all talk. I don't talk to everybody, but everybody knows each other in the community here and knows one another's dolls. So, there was nothing else to do when the replicas popped up, except just congratulate her and be nice and, say, oh, how adorable. Congratulations. Oh, how cute. Oscar has a brother. As awkward as it was, as uncomfortable, and as inside how I was feeling, I was just very pleasant and figured what else to do. I don't want to spoil her enjoying her babies, and just, hopefully she'll just kind of enjoy them and we'll move on, and that'll be that. But this person proceeded, and I think it was a week or 2 after the replica of Oscar was made, but whatever set her off, she went on a public crusade posting that, yes, in fact, this is what she did. She thought the Dwayne Awake kit was the best, silicone ever made, and Yes, she bought vinyl kits and sent them to specific artists. I mean, this isn't her word for word, but this is exactly what she, said that yes, she intended. In fact, her words were, she had prints made of the originals, artist prints made of the originals. so, um, so yeah, she came up and said, "Yep, this is what I did," and encouraged everyone out there that has a Dwayne kit that will be having it reborn to go ahead and do that if they wish. Um, to pay no mind to the mommies that own these dolls. Don't worry about their feelings. Don't have any concern or any respect. Just go ahead and do what you want. If that's what you want, that's what you like that doll, have it done exactly like that doll. So that's, of course, when I couldn't keep my cool and continue to be nice. In fact, this person like asked, I don't even want to get into that, like, asking everyone's opinions or whatever. Well, I sure gave mine on that post. But anyway, um, that's really neither here nor there. To date, this person is continuing on all over, publicly in the community, defending what she did and promoting copying one of a kind dolls, or other collectors' dolls. This is just this is someone that is privileged and obviously feels very entitled, and she couldn't get her hands on any of the originals that she wanted, so she didn't take anyone else's feelings into consideration and just went and did what she wanted and copied the dolls, which is spoiled and selfish, and I don't even it's really not nice. But I feel the buck stops at the artist. Artists know better, most certainly. And if artists, which most artists flat out refuse. If you go to an artist with a picture of someone else's doll and say, "I want you to make this exact doll. I want you to make it as identical as possible to this exact doll," they will tell you where to leap. They're not going to do that. So it's unfortunate that this artist did, and that there are some other artists out there that will, because seems to be like a rash of this going on. Another dear friend of mine had a reborn copied. Another one had several of hers. Like, it's actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it might be the same artist involved with some of those dolls, but I'm not 100%. So I think it may be, though. But if all artists had enough integrity and respect for one another's art, respect for collectors and the art itself, and just said no, then we wouldn't have this problem in the first place. So I think that the buck definitely stops at the artist. Now, let me be clear, because I know people may have their own opinions on this subject. I want to be very clear. I am not talking about, when you have a vinyl kit, obviously some are going to look similar. If somebody enjoys the same eye color or same hair color or same, artist's work or whatever, I totally get that. I understand that. I'm not telling everyone like, "Oh, you should, if you have a vinyl kit, you should run around and, see what everyone else's dolls look like and send it to the artist and make sure it doesn't look like any of them." That's not what I'm saying. I just want to make that very, very clear. That's not what I'm saying. I understand the same sculpt is going to have similarities depending on how it's reborn. I totally get that. I'm not ridiculous, Totally, totally get that. What I am saying is to, purposefully, seek out artists that have enough skill and specifically have them identically copy a doll, or so much so that people don't know it's not that doll. That's what I'm talking about. It takes something away from the collector that owns that original doll. It I'm This is my personal opinion. I'm sharing this as my opinion, but I do think that silicone artists are now going to think twice about if they do a limited edition silicone. They may think twice now about pouring a vinyl version of these kits, being that this happened. I don't think that any artist expected that somebody would cross that line to that extent to do not one, not two, but three, and proudly, throw it in our face and everyone's faces. So instead of just everybody was pleasant about it, just quietly enjoy your dolls. And, I'm not saying not share them, but I'm just saying let's just not advertise that's what you did, because it just wasn't a nice thing to do. And we certainly don't want to teach new collectors coming in that this is okay, because it's not okay. And many collectors are going to be very angry to see that happen. So if you're new here to collecting, don't get yourself in that pickle. My suggestion is if you love someone's doll, if you fall in love with, someone else's doll and you get that kit, and even if you're bringing it to the same artist, there's nothing wrong with having someone else's doll inspire you to make yours. I can't tell you how many of you all comment. I'll pop up to my new Liam here, my Mikhail. So I can't tell you how many people, comment and tell me, how many of you collectors tell me, especially like on Stellan's over here, how many of you all got Levi's because you were inspired by Stellan, and you fell in love with the sculpt through seeing Stellan. I've had some on my Ramsey. I've had some on pretty much every baby. And yeah, of course, that's flattery. That feels good. Like, I'm so happy that I inspired you and that you found the beauty in that kit. And then they went and had their own versions of the kit made. And that's the fun of it. And personally, I love seeing all of your unique versions of all the kits. It's actually uncanny how different the same kit can look in different artists' hands, or even just different styles from the same artist. How different. It's almost like you look and you almost don't realize it's the same kit because of the differences. That to me is astonishing. That's amazing. I love to see it when that happens. And again, some will look similar, as I explained, and that's not what I mean here. And I don't mean for all those of you, because I always love to hear you all say, oh, your Liam inspired me to go to this artist and get a Liam, or your Stellan inspired me to get my Levi, or I fell in love with this kit because I saw it on your channel, or I fell in love with this artist's work because you saw it on my channel. I think that is absolutely fabulous. So I don't, want all my viewers to be like, oh my gosh, she's, lost her mind and she thinks I don't, trust me, I don't feel that way at all. But yeah, if somebody comes to me and says, oh, I fell in love with your doll, and sends a picture and it is the spitting image down to every detail, that's, of course, that's not nice. Why would you do that to somebody that you see loves their baby and loves the fact that it's unique and special? And I don't know why y'all don't want to be your unique selves anyway. Those of you that don't, many of you do. I think most of you do. So don't, I certainly do. When I ordered my Dwayne kit, the vision that I have for him, I specifically chose specific features because it will be different from any that I've already seen. I like to be different. I strive to be different and unique, which is basically just going with my own taste and what I love, and I'm me. You all are you. I show you me. I want to see you, not my own self in you. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all unique and special. And that, I think, comes through in our collecting, in our doll collections. And so it's much more nice to see the unique individuals we are, even if we have the same tastes in certain things, but that we put our own personal touch and don't make replicas of one another's dolls. I would say, say your neighbor went out, your next door neighbor, and had their house sided in the same exact color as yours, had the same trim, the shutters painted the same, the door, the garage, then they paved their driveway with the exact same paving, same design, they planted the exact trees you had in the exact spots, they did their gardens exactly the same as yours, all the same color flowers, all the same types, everything. They made their home look identical to yours. How would you, first off, that would look pretty stupid to have two houses next door to one another exactly the same like that. I know siding companies, a lot of good ones won't even do the same color siding on the same block because they don't want, it detracts from the value of your home. And of course, you're going to feel a certain kind of way that all the money and love and part of you that you put into your home, that someone else, no, of course, it's never going to be exactly your home. And they might be able to split hairs and say, oh, well, I picked a brass doorknob and you have chrome, so therefore it's really not exact. Walks like a duck, talks like a duck. You know what I'm saying, folks? So that would feel pretty strange to have your neighbor do something like that. How many of you all raise your paws? That would be really, really odd. So this is the same thing. We are all next door neighbors here because this community, as big as it is, it's still small within, the world of collecting. It's a niche, unique hobby, and most of us all know each other. And so especially when we all know each other and we frequent the same groups and all of that stuff, to do that to another collector is horrible. It's very selfish. That's, and right, wrong, or indifferent, those are my feelings. I felt a certain kind of way. And I think that this, some of you, it may be like until it happens to you, you may not understand. I've seen the argument out there, oh, it's impossible to copy someone else's doll to make the same doll. And while, yes, technically, that is impossible, of course. And in my case, you're talking about two different mediums. But that's just splitting hairs over, wording and being, like I said, walks like a duck, talks like a duck. That's the bottom line. Is it illegal? No, it's not. Is it immoral? Yes, absolutely. Is it really disrespectful to do to someone else? Yes, absolutely. No, it's not illegal, but it's, we do keep a certain etiquette here towards one another. We are civilized, or we should be. So I really wanted to put it out there because someone else is running around saying, oh, this is just go do this. And, a lot of you all are new. We have so many new collectors coming in here. I talk to you all the time and, share many things about collecting. And this is one of them. And it's not just in this art. It's maybe you all would relate to, if somebody walks into a tattoo parlor and says, I want this piece on me, and it's a picture of someone else's, drawn up one of a kind tattoo. The artist is going to tell you where to stick it. You all know that. Those artists don't do that to one another. That is a huge taboo. That happens very rarely because they make a big forget about it. Because that's someone else's piece of artwork, that's unique. There's plenty of tattoos on the wall that you could pick and say, I want that number 42 or whatever, and you can get an inexpensive or sometimes expensive, but just a copy, a general tattoo. But if you're going in and you're paying the extra money and you're paying the artist to draw you up your own unique piece and all of that, and then paying to have it tattooed, it is, you know what I mean? Like, they're not gonna, copy that on someone else's, they may say, you could go in and say, I'm inspired by this and I want to make A, B, and C, lots of changes or whatever, maybe. But so anyway, please keep your comments respectful. You all know that I have absolutely no problem with everyone sharing their opinions, even if they differ from mine. However, if you're rude or disrespectful towards me or just in general or towards other people commenting, you will be immediately removed and blocked. I don't give chances or warnings. It will be out. So got to be respectful on my platform. That's all I ask. And I don't think it's too much to ask that y'all respectfully share if you want. So don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video and receive invites to my live streams. All right, everyone. Till next time, God bless.